Okay, Google, turn the projectors on.
Turning the projectors on.
Yellow. Yeah, my mic just turned on. I had to put my Streamlight on. I forgot to put it on. Luckily, I can do it with Google. So I can do that with Google. It's so cool. I've got all the lights up in the room set up with Google. So it's all very clever. Very clever technology. I can also ask her to add things to my shopping list, but we don't want to be doing that, do we? Now, really. Yeah. I've heard of some people doing some pretty nasty tricks with adding things to people's shopping lists. So what we doing? Well, first of all, it's Shiny Saturday, but it's only semi-shiny Saturday because it's been very hot here today. So it's semi-shiny. I'm in leather, but I'm wearing my leather suit. I'm probably going to wear it tomorrow as well. Looks something like this. Ta-da! Yeah, feels a bit too summery, doesn't it? Oh yeah, we've had a mysterious heat wave, and anyway, yeah, it's very summery, but it breaks tomorrow, sadly. And welcome in Boban and Beard. Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? I keep saying to myself, I'm going to wear the leathers more in stream because latex is lovely, looks amazing, just feels amazing to wear. But I finish the stream and I have to go and shower up and wash the latex, and then it's on the air or over the bath for a few hours while it dries out. Whereas the leathers, I can just take these off and wear them again tomorrow. I'm going to wear this shirt tomorrow as well. This is my this is the shirt that I was bleating on about that I probably won't be able to afford now because Trump decided tariffs and all that malarkey. So I think this is my last Roosevelt shirt, unfortunately, because this were already 80 quid. But so Valheim. I know he's called him off. He's a bit hokey-cokey with the tariffs, isn't he? It's like, oh, the tariffs are on. No, they're off. Tariffs are on. No, they're off. Tariffs are on. No, they're off. To be honest, as a nation, we've gone through Brexit. We've had to become a little more self-sufficient. So I don't think it affects us quite as badly as it's going to affect some people because we've learned to start making things again. It's the number of products I see now in the UK with proudly made in Britain on them, and it's just, whilst everything about Europe for me were brilliant, I do think some companies used it as a massive excuse to move production to the cheaper producing countries. So there were products that, well, yeah, they do actually. There were some products that only the British eat, but they were making them overseas in Spain, and it's, and it was just because the factories were there and they shut our factories down and we lost all the jobs. But that's been somewhat undone. Still think Brexit's a shocking idea though, and I'll be glad to see the bloody back of it. But I do wish they'd put some controls on companies moving stuff overseas and companies overseas and that. But what we're going to say. I don't normally come here to talk politics anyway, but Roosevelt shirts, they are amazing. If you can get them, get them. They are really nice to wear, really comfortable to wear. RSVLTS, Roosevelts, they're called. And yeah, they're brilliant shirts. They're really comfortable. They're made in China. That is the one thing I will point out. They are made in China, so they're going to become more expensive to Americans anyway. They're already going to be up £935. Anyway, but Roosevelt shirts, and this is the it's called Nightmare on Bear Mountain. Yeah, well. Anyway, on to Valheim. I've done a lot in Valheim. So I am in Buildheim, Jonathan's server, and I've done a shit ton, and I'm going to do a shit ton more, because this theme park or fairground is getting bigger. Loonyland is getting very big. I'm going to put a sign up on the hillside overlooking it with Looney written on it, but I've got a couple of ideas for rides, so I'll give you a guided tour first. See if it works. It probably won't. Oh, it's picked up. No, it has actually picked up the window. So, it's picked up the window. Let's get the sound up. Here we go. Sounds is up. So I'm currently sat on the toilet. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to force the daytime. Punch the wall. So it is TOD. It's not thingy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to force it to sort of mid-afternoon, because I prefer the light in mid-afternoon. We sort of get golden light. So I'm going to be building in golden light rather than midday. So what have I done? Well, that's all as was. But now I've got the angled pieces, I've actually filled in the Ferris wheel. So it now looks more like a real Ferris wheel. So that's the first thing I've done. So those pieces are new that go around that make the rim. Obviously last week I built the toilet. Or on Tuesday I built the toilet block with fully usable toilets. So those are pre-existing. I've built these lamps. So these are the official Loonyland lamps, which I thought were a pretty neat design. Yes, the Fenris wheel. And I've put a few of those dotted around. And the other new ride. Well, there's two of them. This is the first one. So we've got a launched freefall, which is in the middle of the square. It's where the fireplace, there used to be a fire there and not much else. And I just wanted it to feel a bit more closed in. So I built that. There's the controller's station. You can sit on them. And so you hang, because it's one of the forward mounted ones, so you hang. You've seen nothing yet, dude. You've seen nothing yet. Busy doesn't even start to come into it. So that's that. Now you probably noticed I'm deliberately keeping my view down to the ground. Well, that's new. Does that mean there's another area to the park, perhaps? Well, there will be soon. But for the first thing we need to do is we need to go into here. So just after the bar, you get the fish finger stall, and then, hang on, what's this? I need to redo those signs actually, because I've now turned one into a fast pass. So we have a height limit of 1.4 meters. What could this possibly be with a height limit? Oh, it might be another roller coaster. Well, let's keep us. Oh, can you see what I can see? So we've got a regular queue and a fast pass queue, and an exit queue. Oh, yeah. It's another roller coaster. Get that. And it's called... Do you like that? So, we've got another roller coaster. Looks good with black, doesn't it? Looks good. So I better show you this roller coaster. I go back into fly mode. So I'll follow it around the track. So it's a launched roller coaster, and it's a steerly. So this is the first curve, which takes us into the charged booster hill. And then underneath the station, we get the boost. Up into the first curve. Well, You can't walk over this one, unfortunately. And then we go around here. Through this little tree here. Into mountain. Through this cut. So we're actually in mountain now. In a different biome. Around the back. So bear in mind this is all taken at really high speed. And then round the back and then out here. Into this, which for some reason has a little bit of a kink in the track, which I can't understand why. But I daren't adjust this track, it took so much doing. There's another kink there which I couldn't get out. Yeah. Well, I'm amazed, to be honest, when your Flametal's free. And then it comes low to the ground, goes through this area of Black Forest, which does need a couple more rocks in it. Does a really close head chopper there with these trees. And then back into the station. So that is called Mjolnir. Or Mjolnir. So the only thing I do need to do is I need to change these, because that one is the main queue. So that needs to be... I'll have it orange. So that's VIP riders only. So VIP riders go up that queue and get batched into the front of the main queue. Which is how it works at most roller coasters. I know you don't get straight to the front of the queue. But yeah, that's a Steely. So the way I built that, I think there's still a section somewhere over here. The way I built that is I built a section of track like that. You can still see that one in there. And if you building pipette it, you can also see a car there, look. If you building pipette it, look, you can see it's basically that. So if you want to build a section of track, you'd do it like that. And that's how you build the track. And you can also, using the things I've got, if I put my rotation up to maximum, or to the maximum number of points, you can really tilt it quite accurately. So you can, I'm really getting the hang of this tilting malarkey now as well. Although it does help, so when you've got separately assigned keys for it as well. Now, I do need to get rid of that, and I've realised I put it on a rock, which means it's probably going to remove that rock as well. No, so that's fine. So that is the second roller coaster in the park. I think there's probably going to be a third. I've got my ideas for a third roller coaster. I was going to build a ghost train, and then I struggled. I struggled with the ghost train. But I've got two ideas for rides. So I quite fancy Dodgems, but what I'm going to build now is a Huss top spin. And I'm going to build it raised up on here. I'm going to build it, it's going to be on this area here. And it's going to be raised up on steps, so you climb up to it. And it's going to be a rather nice top spin. So you'll be able to see my copy-paste techniques in action. Yeah, the other thing I mentioned is there's a car there, look. So you can see the cars and how they're made. So if I build in pipette that, look, that's one of the cars for it. Now the only thing is with those is yeah, so they use shields for the wheels, look. I could actually put one of those as a an ornament there. So that's how those are done. And then it's basically a case of lining them up on the track. So what we're going to do is I'm going to build a top spin. So top spin's quite a big ride, so I'm thinking I could either build it over towards here, that way on, which would put it at that sort of angle, which would give it a view out over there from the top. And I don't know whether to make the car at the top as well. Because there's a couple of rides I could actually make. There's another one I've thought of as well I could make. There's another one I thought I could make as well. Because I could make... Well, actually, I could make a turbo. Turbos are fantastic. I love turbos. And they're quite old rides as well. Turbos, it's a long arm, very long arm with a car on the top. Yeah, I'm just thinking I can make a turbo and a top spin. So I'm going to go with the top spin first. Turbo's a really good ride to like stick into a narrow space. So I could put a turbo there. The top spin needs nothing above it. So let me just check there's nothing above it. Remove these objects. Just make sure I'm not removing anything else. Right, I'm just thinking I ought to flatten the landscape out a little bit more. But I need to flatten and raise, so let me level this landscape and pick a level point there. That's not affected down there, is it? No. The problem with levelling landscape is you've got to be careful what you're doing. So these are the tools I was on about, again, the landscape profiling tools. See that? It just jumped up. If you put your... You can't have a step above a certain amount. So you get to a point and it jumps. That's what happens occasionally. You've also got to be careful you're not levelling the landscape too far. I want to try and keep that house on there though. So this is how you create a flat area for a ride. Now that won't lower anymore. Look, you see how that's not letting me lower anymore? That's because the landscape's too steep. However, what I can do is take this out here, and then we can get these, expose these rocks, and also notice things drop. Right, so that's enough space for a top spin, I think. Built up on a cliff. So a top spin is a solid base. So I'm thinking I'll start with clearing the deck where it's going to go. So we'll pave that. Paving's always good because it's got no things that stick through. You see how that's raised there, so we've got to be careful of that. So I can always sort the grass out later. Hello, Mama Pinky. Yeah, I built this one. Look, I built another roller coaster. Jonathan's going to be going, how many things has he built? I'm absolutely lovely, Mama Pinky. How are you doing? No, unfortunately not. Valheim doesn't allow for functioning. There are a couple of rides that function, but most of them unfortunately don't. So I'm not going to need that level of snapping for this, because too much snapping is ridiculous. So I reckon this can be the platform for the top spin. I'm building a Huss top spin. Touch the keypad softly. Oh, girls in the painted nails. My good lady does them all the time. Paints the nails and then she's like, oh, I can't do this, I can't touch that, I can't touch that. So I'll start with this as a bed. I mean, the thing is, if I don't like where it is, I can always pick it up and move it. So I'm reckoning... Start with that as a basic bed for the ride. So, I need arms for the top spin. And I need a central shaft. But what I think I'll do is I'll build the car first. And then build the ride to the car. That seems to work on a lot of these things. It's like that. There. That's a copy-paste job. That's my launch freefall. That's a copy-paste job. And the car is built to fit onto the thing. Oh, if you notice, I've used grindstones as wheels. Which look cool. And this is going to be the same. It's going to have going to have round things. Not wheels necessarily, just round things. So let's go and build the car. So the car will need to start raised up. So this can be my indexing point for it. So a Huss top spin. If I go for the flawless version of the top spin, so that's the current version, because the old top spin used to have a flaw in it and the new top spin doesn't. So we'd be looking at a backboard and then chairs mounted through a backboard for the seats. So what I'm thinking is start with a copy paste for the sections, because these chairs are going to be a pain in the arse to get in position. I could do it with benches, but I think the Viking chairs look better, and I can tip them. You tip them like that so that they pop through the wood. So that's my index point. So if I put one on that one there and one on that one there, are they level? They're actually pretty bang on level then. So that will be my piece. So I think next stage I would need is, so I need to, that's the backboard, I need to put the actual proper pieces in. So I'll use the door trick to bring the next piece forward, because if you don't know, with Buildheim you can use doors to realign pieces. Right, I'm going to go with dartwood though. So that would be there, which would give me that sort of thing. I've got my wood aligned wrong. Let me just straighten that up. That's what I thought. This didn't look right. There we go. So you can sit on the top spin. Look, I reckon that wood can come one further forward. So let's do the doors trick again. Can I bring another one further forward? If I put the cross on the outside, which is there, is that any better? If I go one further forward still, will that work? The reasoning of the man. No, can't do that. It's going to be there. So I need to make the back bit now. So now I've got that lined up. Let's grab that with a building pipette and rock that backwards. It's red. Does that jump in? That's crooked. That's crooked. That started off at the wrong angle. Something's not right there. Because it's rocking backwards like that, look. So I don't know whether something's not right or what. Let me just snap down again. Just try making that again. Got to get this absolutely perfect, because for God's sake it's going to be a top spin. Right, let me reduce my number of snap points to what we used to get. Oh my God, look, it's not even on angle. So we would be looking at, put the chairs back on. It's actually easier with the other wood. You get the up down pattern. back with the chairs again. So they can't be rotated at any stupid angle. And basically, if you look what I'm looking at, I'm looking the V at the top of the chair lines up with the gap in the piece of wood. And provided your line of sight works, it should be right. The left hand one is slightly higher. It's not that bad. It's just when you've got a line of like 16 of them, it's going to look bad. I'll get rid of that because that's wank. Right, so I need to swap this piece now. So I'll try it this way. I'll try rocking that piece. Try rocking that piece in like that. So I'll start with the piece already tilted. So that's what I wanted. That's the look I need to achieve. So we'd be looking at that like so. And then we'd need a top, which would need to be flat. And then if I copy that, building pipette that, and just paste it into the, because I'm using fewer snapping angles, it should look a bit better. So that's what it'll look like as a ride. So it's just the bottom that needs filling in now. So the bottom's going to be visible when the ride's up in the air, so it needs to look nice. If I do that angle, that is not going to let me snap to that, is it? What about that side? No, that's got the V to the front. So I need to put the V to the back. So I need to go under that way. Which probably means I'll have to snap to this side. Nope, there's no snap point. Doesn't like that snap point. What about an auto? Oh, I saw one then. Yeah, I can't get a snap point on that. There's one there, that's alright then. So I can use that one. I think it's because I've got the chairs through. It's not getting the snap. I said snap, not slap. Thank you. Had to be done, and I knew we were going to do it. Right. Sorry for the late response. Well, you will be. So that's got the chairs. Now the only thing is the chairs are sticking out a bit ungainly, and all I want is the seat area of it. So let me just see if there's a way I can make those disappear a bit more. So I could do it that way. If I use the Grouston trick. Because Grouston is the other material that creates two snap points as well. Try to send you a whisper, but you block whispers from strangers. Ooh, stranger danger! Actually, I could just do it like that. Because there's a way I can... There's a snap. I can just put them in like that. Get rid of the Grouston. So that's looking balanced so far. I'm not a stranger, lol. I'm not saying you are. I mean, to be honest, I can understand people blocking DMs from people they don't know. I get some weird DMs on Instagram. I think if I do that, this is going to take some right lining up to get it to look right into it. It's not going to line up at this side, is it? It is, but it's getting it right. Now the other alternative is I delete half of this. So I can delete that half. Delete it to there. Delete one of each of those. And then just build it as a half and flip it again. I reckon that as a feature would on front, because I can rotate that round and put the like that. Oh, I broke my hammer. I'm going to just mend that. I've got a repair station just in bottom here. Broke both of them actually. So there we go. That's my hammer repaired. I could probably gather who there were actually, because there's some people on Twitch who really are absolute bellends. There's one of them I still got him as a friend, I noticed the other day, but he's still got me as a friend, and I'm a bit desperate for friends at the moment. The day I hit 1,000, I will be back down to 999 because he'll be the one who's deleted. Right, this is what I'm thinking is if I can put that there, that will just pop out there like that. Yes. Oh yeah. Hoola. So that's the seating arrangement. We've got a good pattern underneath. So I think that is ready to go. So if I delete one of those, do a building pipette on that, flip it round, and it should be a perfect mirror image that locks in like that. And then if I now do another building pipette on that, pick that up, I should now be able to copy that across and make a car. There we go. That's a top spin car. So I can now build in pipette that, and I'll just put that out the way for now. Just put it up there. Got to make sure it's got no rocks around it when I'm building pipette it, because otherwise I'm going to have to delete them. Put one there, and I'll put a copy of it down there just in case. Because I now need to delete that and straighten it up. So if I now do this and just delete that, just make sure there's notes above me, because deleting works on all levels. So the next thing I need is my raised snap index for this ride. So I think increase my number of snap points back up. I think if I go with that one there, too many. That one. So I should now be able to build in pipette that again. And drop that on there. So that's the central shaft. central shaft of it, and now I need to cover this end up, and then same for the other end. So I think, I mean, this shouldn't be too difficult to cover actually, because I think what I could do is if I go for the ashwood, flip it around so we've not got the dressing piece in, that should do those, and then these here should do the ends like that. I didn't think that would be a very difficult cover. And then that one with the same technique, so rotate it downwards, spin it outwards, make sure it's the right angle of dangle. There we go, that's the right angle of dangle. So that's that one done, and I can also use that one to do that side. Can I rotate it on the flat? I can. Rotate that on the flat, and then the same there. So that's the top spin car. So now we need the armatures. So the first armature needs to go in the end of the car here. So the first armature would be there, but it doesn't need to be that far out. So if I put one of those, this is a bit of a manual line-up thing. Then put one of those inside it, and then see if I can delete the inner wood. Not that, that's the outer wood. It's the wood I need to get rid of. There we go. And then the same at this end. So manual position of the armature. Anyway, what you're on about puke? You'll be puking when you get on my rides. You need to ask Jonathan to get you in here, and then you can come and ride them. Right, so I need now need an arm, and the arm is symmetrical and has a counterweight on it. So I need a big round thing. There are no round things in Buildheim, so you have to make round things. That's the only round thing I can think of, is that. So I could use that. Oh, that's about as round as you get in Buildheim. So I could use that, I suppose, as the end boss. And the other thing with that is I think you can snap that to centre. Yes, you can. So that's a ready-made round thing. So that was pretty easy actually, that was pretty easy. Right, so now I need the armature. Now can I snap this how I want to? So I'm just going to build this as a structure now. So I reckon it needs to be 6 high. So it needs to be that high. Then we get another boss for the rotation. So we rotate another boss up. Now this one's going to be a bit more of a tricky one because it's got no, rotate your fuck. Because it's the snapping point. Right, that is not rotating correctly. Try again. So I need to make sure that the circle is pointing towards the right. Well, that's pointing, those are parallel. So that should now give me the boss rotated correctly that I can now... Yes, I can snap top center. So let me just straighten that up. And I'll probably put 2 of those. So if I snap that, like so, that's my center. And then I need the same again, 6 more pieces, and then the counterweights. Now that snapped in the actual centre, didn't it? So if I do that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the counterweight. So does that look good? Does that look balanced? It's a bloody big top spin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if that's done right, those should be level. So let me copy that boss, because I can just copy that piece. Now the only thing is, it doesn't get the same snapping points. And then this is the top of the thing, so this needs to be snapped center. So that's the basic arm, and that's the basic layout of a top spin. So I'll thicken that arm out and make more of it. And then we need another pinion here, which needs to be thrust into the middle of that. Is that the right angle? No, I didn't think it were. I'll get rid of that again, because it needs to be in the middle of there, really. We need to be using the same snapping points here. I mean, to be honest, I don't really need those if I don't need to. Right, we are looking at... Copy that again. I'll pipette that. I can change the environment, don't worry. I'm going to change it, because I'm not working in bloody fog. Make the environment clear. So that is the top spin. And the other thing I'll need to do, this can be a bit easier though, is I need to put a centre shaft. Now that can be decorated as well, but that has actually worked out alright for balance. Let me copy that again. Gonna lurk and lay down. Alright then. You have a good old lurk. I don't mind lurkers. So that needs to have another one of those on the end of there. One of those on the end of there. So that's now the ground. They're the ground props. So I think the ground props could be definitely be a lot more ornate. Let me just sort this weather out. So I'm not building in bloody fog. Right, so I think probably actually put the boss on last. Right, I'm going to go now to wood. The only reason I'm going to wood is because the snapping's easier. I'm going to go to vertical wood. Reset that. And I think Are we on the right angle? Yeah, we are. No, we're not. We're not on the right angle. Reset that. That's the right angle. Yep, that's the right angle. So I reckon 1, 2, 3 on the red. To give me that angle. That might actually be one of the authorised Buildheim angles. And that gives me that angle of dangle, which takes it nicely to there. That might be a bit wide actually. If that's going to go into the back of the... I might steepen that a bit. So on the red, we go for that. Ah, there's one in there somewhere. I lost that forever. And then on the red, 1, 2, 1, 2. It should be the opposite of that. That's the right angle of it. Now what I can do here is I can build this one side and then copy it across. So the way I'm thinking of it is probably doubled up wood. Go for some nice textured wood. Some really nice textured wood like that. Or you can whisper each other now. You whisper sweet nothings. Right, so that needs to go across there as a bracing arm. But what can I do that's ornate with these? Because I think there's something I can do with those that looks cool. So let me put those at the same angle. And what they'll do is they'll sit in there like that. That's what I was thinking, if I can get something that does that. And then that one, flatten it off. And put a piece like that, even though it's going to give you, like a weird knotwork. So that's the basic structure done. Now the top bit, I'm going to fill in a bit more. So because I'm working on an angle that's already accepted. Now the only thing is I would need to change that wood. But that's doable. Let's see, is that an accepted angle I've got there? I don't think it is. I don't think that's an accepted angle, is it? No, I'm going to need to change the number of bloody snaps, aren't I, for that? Yeah, that's not an accepted angle. That is why it's gone weird. I do that, and then the same at that side, where I flip that round. It's a prog band called Solstice. And then the band I'm seeing on Tuesday, because if you remember there's no stream on Tuesday either, which is why I'm doing today. The band I'm seeing on Tuesday is Ghost. These are bloody thin tolerances, these. It's one more that way, it's one more on that angle. Can't rotate it. It's not rotating, it's not letting me rotate it where I want it to. Which means I think that's sticking outwards. Alright, let me try copying that piece there. Because I can try rotating that on the flat. Because that might retain the same angle. So that's got the same angle, look. There we go. What, Ghost's awesome. I mean, Ghosts are amazing. We get the new Papa as well. He's I don't know if you know the singer of Ghost. Basically, he plays the part of a religious like preacher, and he evolves into different. So we've got Emeritus, Blow Them a Kiss Back. Oh, the Go-Goat. Yes, it is the ones who did the Go-Goat. Hey baby. I don't know if they'll do it tomorrow on Tuesday. Actually, I don't know if they'll do that song. But if they do, I will blow them a kiss from you, Goat. Right, so that's the frame in there. Now what I'm going to do, because I want to thicken that frame up, is I'm going to do the door trick. I want to thicken that structure. So I'm going to get rid of that up there, so it's not touching the main structure at the moment, because I can always put that back in now. I'm going to put one door up there. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to building pipette that, and I hope that it creates me a snap point that's acceptable. No, it's not. Right, if I do it the other way and put the doors onto the back, the only thing is it might touch the main structure, which means that it pipettes the rest of it. No, it's not. So if I now get rid of those, use the bottom snapping point. It's not going to let me get a snap point, is it? It's going to be a knob. Right, try one at bottom ones. Always because of snapping. So yeah, it's not letting me. That's the snap point I want. Now let's just go up without, and let's go for auto. Maybe building pipette that and see if I can just do it by hand. That's the problem. It jumps as soon as you get it into location. It jumps inside. Right. What about if I do the Grouston one? Do the Grouston trick, see if that one works. See if I can snap Grouston to Grouston. So building pipette that and see if I can snap the Grouston to itself. The Ghoulettes? Well, none of them are known. Oh, well, officially none of them are known. Although it's quite common knowledge who a lot of the people are. But they're becoming more, they're becoming less anonymous as the band evolves, because I think he's fed up of wearing all that makeup, to be honest. Right, I am getting no snaps on this at all. I'm just going to try and create an alternative snapping point. So if I can create a snapping point on that edge there. Right, let me try that. I'm trying to create a snapping point on the front edge of the Grouston. Yeah, when you're getting paid as much as they're getting paid to do it, though. I mean, for a band that started off quite small, they have become pretty bloody massive. That looks right. Now, if that's right, that means I should be able to create a snapping point on that second piece, because I need the snapping point to be not there. I need it to be on that edge. Right, let me see if I can do it like that. So I need to build in pipette. The only problem is with that is it's now touching that, is it? If I building pipette that, will that let me snap if I get rid of that? It's closer, but it's not right. It's not right. This is not going very well. So the only other alternative is that I make a proper space in between them. So what I could do is make an official space, and then we can put motor in there anyway. If I do that piece there, rotate it. So I need to, no, not like that. I need to have it flat rotated, so I'm going down, and then flat rotated out, which will be actually on the green circle. And if I go over the top like that, do that on the green circle, so that should give me room for motor housing. Yeah, I think that actually would work. I think that would work. I now put that to there, rotate that over, put that to like a half angle. That's not right. That's not right. Needs to be there. Is it that one? So what it needs to be is it needs to be at that angle. It needs to be the same angle. That's still not right. It's that's why it's downwards. Right. I should now be able to copy paste that. And that should stick. So if I copy that with building pipette and rotate that round, we should be able to stick that to itself. And I could stick it like that and have it quite wide. And then that gives me enough room to put a motor in. Motor being probably a spinning wheel. Put those in. And make sure they're flat, level and correct. And I'll do the same with those two. And I think I'll put a platform in there actually. I'll make the platform. I think that's bigger than a platform size. Yeah, it is. So I'll make the platform out of those. Because I can put those in like that. And they don't look too bad when they mesh. And they give you that underneath, which looks cool. Right, so that's one arm almost done. Right, let's put some patterns up it. And then same that way. Float those backwards. Is it that one or is it that one? It's that one. That's not on the right one. What has that snapped to? I think that's rotated, that's why. Try again. Or is there misalignment? I think that were a misalignment. So that's one end. So I will copy that as is. Put the shaft there. I'm going to have to delete this little bit of structure here, but I can still put it back in. Let me get the... let me rotate that back to standard. Or scientific, as we call it in the UK. That's good. So, get rid of those. So it needs to stick onto there. Copy that with a building copy. Hope that it makes me a snapping point in the right place. It has done, it's there. And paste it in. Now make the rest of the ride back up, and then I've got the arms to do. So crafting, copy that piece. And this is probably going to be a difficult one to snap, but we shall see. Top centre, there we go, straight in. So that's the start of the top spin done. Not to whispering sweet nothings at each other. Do you know, you're incorrigible. Right, this, I've got the idea for this one. This is going to be quite a shallow structure. So what I'm thinking is if I start it with these, and use these as the main bit of the structure and tilt them in, so it's like that. So basically got that going on. Oh, look, another ban evader been restricted. Do you know, you think they'd learn. So we'll do the same again there. We'll do that's the angle of dangle. Might just do the same here and copy the, make one up and copy it across. I've just noticed that that is slightly rotated as well. Although to be fair, I can get rid of that. Right, can I go one shallower angle than that? Because I've got, I think that's going to be too wide. Yeah, you might be able to actually, but it doesn't matter anyway because it gets them. It gets them, so I won't worry about it. Right, that's flipped. That's parallel with that. So let's rotate that. Ah, I've just rotated that wrong. I think that's right. So that is what I was hoping for. That might be a bit too shallow. Let's see what happens when it gets to level 5. That's a bit too shallow. See if that one does any better. There we go. That's what I wanted. So same again. Rotate it all the way around. It needs to be lined up with the structure. And then take it over up to vertical. And it's 2 away from vertical. So that's vertical. 1, 2. I think it's that. Which does mean the bottom 2 will need replacing. That is not right. That's too far. One of those isn't the same angle of the angle as the other. I think that one is. That's what it needs to be. Right, So apart from that one snapping like a bloody dumpling, that works. And one of those is slightly rotated. I think it's this one. It's that one. Alright, so there's no sticking out now toward. Those are sitting slightly one on top of the other, that's the only thing. What will they sit like on the other side? Very difficult to see at these sort of angles. So we've got a really nice diamond structure there, look, which I quite like. So I wonder if I can copy that as a building. Copy that as a building. So it's not touching anything. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of all that. Copy that as a building. And that's picked up that with the boss. So now... Oh, you arsebag. You absolute arsebag. I'm going to rotate it into it. It's going to spin it and angle it as it does it, because it's something's twisted on it. Let's see if it snaps differently there. Yeah, it's rotating because something's twisted. Can I compensate for that though? I can get that to snap into there. Then I can compensate for that. That's the same position. Ah, look, it's leaning inwards. That's what the problem is. That block is not right. That block is angled. That's what set all the problem off. So the idea is good. But I need to make sure. I think actually the top one does lean in on the top spin. If I remember rightly. The idea, the concept's good, but it needs redoing. So let's start again. That's the... That's that. So if I start from there... If I can just make one of these arms. So look, even there it's not right. It's just so easy to get things slanted. You think the snapping's bad on the Xbox version. Wait till you've got 128 angles of bloody snap. Alright, is that snaps? Is that? That's not even vertical. That's vertical. That should be vertical because that's snapped to default angle. So that's, yeah, that's vertical, look. So that should be vertical as well. Unless the piece is contra... Yeah, there we go. So I'll try that again without the boss at the bottom. because it'll be easier to see if it's drifting off. This is building for bloody psychotics. So yeah, the only thing I've got is the to rotate along the blow, because I can now be guaranteed that those are level. So we need to make sure that that is... Oh, for fuck's sake, that's the problem. You spin it, you get it, think, oh, it's good that, and then you accidentally hit the wrong button. So that still looks crooked to me. So I need to rotate out that along the blue. So that's vertical. That's the problem, look, that which is vertical. Is that vertical? Or is that vertical? I think it's that. So that should stay in line. Look, it's tilted. That's why it's not vertical. Right. So start again. Let me just see what happens if I drop down to the lower snapping levels. Is that one? Yeah, that's the one. 3, 4, 5. This is building for people. What is fools? So let's... Right. So I've got fewer snapping points now. Now the only problem is, can I actually get that correct angle with the fewer snapping points? So we're spinning up over the blue. So that should be vertical. Yeah, look, it's not vertical. We've got... Actually, that could be the right angle. Even though it's not vertical, that is the right angle. So if I can copy that as a structure, if I building pipette that, rotate it around its axis. What I need to try and do is get a snapping point that is... I don't think there is one. That's the snap point. Right, that's the axis. The axis of evil. So the next thing I need to do is see if that copies up with perfect symmetry. So does that now copy over? Look, it's rotated again. It's doing it again. Look, as you put it up, it rotates. So we end up with shitty symmetry. So yeah, it's still twisted, look. Doing my head in now. Doing my head in. Getting on my tits. If only Raymaker saw all this bloody side of things. Everybody looks at them and they go, oh, they see all these wonderful rides. So that should be back up to 128 snaps. There is a line look. There is a marker. See? So when you rotate it, there's a marker. See, that to me looks perfect. I think that is it. I think that is perfect. So if that is perfect, it's not leaning into the ride. So what I'll do, while I'm at it, I'll build one of those and just see, does that slope anywhere? Right, and that gives perfect alignment that way. So rotate that. You see, that's leaning, look. That's still leaning. I think that's leaning as well. Oh, there's a way to prove this, but it means I'm going to have to disturb my angle. Because that should form a perfect square, and that does form a perfect square, so that would mean that that is the angle I need to be basing it on. Just check that's same underneath that piece. Is that the same angle? Yep, that's the same angle. So from that one, we would need to rotate under. So I'm going to base it on that one. You see, that now looks, it still looks crooked. Actually, no, I don't think it does. So we would need to go 2 out of level, lock it there, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, that is perfectly level. So the question is, if I just rotate that on that axis, will it work the same? So that's 4. 1, 2. Right, if this has worked, that should be straight through the middle of there. And that should, if I spin that down over the blue axis, I should be able to point two pieces of wood at each other like that. And they should mesh beautifully like that. You sexy motherfuckers. So that is my arm. So that is the basic of the arm. So now I need to decouple it from the other structure. Thank you, giving out the bitties again. Bob and giving out the biddies. Right, so we need to then... It is a leathery day, Marcus. It is. It's leather suit day. Might even wear it tomorrow for the gig. So building pipette that. Flip that over. You don't mind. What should happen is then... Snapping. Will it give me the snap position that I want? This is going to be a problem now. It's going to go, no, I'm not giving you that snap position. I'm going to give you any other snap position except for the one you want. Right, let me get rid of that beam at the bottom. Do it again. See if it'll give me the right one. So... It's not going to give me fucking snap. All that work and it's just going to go, no. Let me try rotating it over. Is it going to twist? It's going to fucking twist again, isn't it? It's twisted again, look. Oh, you bell end. It won't give me the bloody... I don't know why it's twisting as well, because that looks absolutely straight to me. Shiny moss. Oh, you're doing a... You're doing a... Like a one piece, so... Stick a photo on in the Discord if you want. I think actually I've just hit the rotate on that. Right, let me get rid of these. And try building pipetting that, because that might give me a snap point. Right, that's giving me a snap point at the top, look. Yeah, so that's the problem. I'm picking it up and rotating it wrong. So look, the rotation point isn't level with the landscape. Didn't hear what I said. It might just be a bug in it, to be honest, yeah. Because it is a thing that's like not really official. I mean, it's looking better than it was, let's put it that way. Let me just pop that in place in a sec. So that is the... It may be a case of I just have to deal with it. So that is definitely straight up. And it leans backwards. It's leaning backwards. Don't worry about that. I can deal with that. That's why it looked lower. Yeah, I seem to remember on a top spin, I seem to remember the top arms do actually lean inwards. Yeah, join the Discord. Join the Discord. It's good. It's full of people who like leather and latex and stuff. Right, that is now... Please tell me that is correct. Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Yeah, get it joined. Get it joined, dude. Went you under Discord. Let's now put those two pieces in then. These should be a bit easier. So I need the same piece again. But now I'm lined up, you see. I've got all this lining up to do. It's a bit easier. And then once I've done one of them and I know it works. So that's the idea of it. That should be not sticking out either side if that's right, which it is, look. Thank you for the slap. Bourbon for a change. Ah, that's more a bourbon thing, that one. So, because I said snapping it. Yeah, it's because I said snap. So I think this could be beating the waltzer as the most awkward ride ever to make. I think it's that one. No, that was. I think that one's leaning slightly. I think it's a case of there's some tolerances, because that one sticks out that way, look, and that one sticks out that way. So I think it's a case of we have to work within the tolerances of the game and just deal with it. I mean, I'm liking the shape it's come up with the saw blades. I'm liking that. So the final bit I need to do is, it's the other side. Break on through to the other side. Now this one should be a little bit easier to do, because it's that. Don't know whether that needs another angle or dangle. Right, I'm going to do that with the other one, because I think it makes life easier rather than trying to... It's the same piece, to be honest. So the only one that's missing now is that one. That gives me a ripsaw pattern. So if I go and copy that. Now the thing is, I don't think these pieces are actually quite straight. I think they need a bit of jiggling. So that is the piece, as it will be. So the final bit I need to do is, I'm going to leave those little notches in. I don't think my brain will take that. I need snap into centre, top centre, bottom centre. There we go. Right, so if I now get rid of that, I need to copy that across. Look, it's crooked. That's what's the problem is. The bloody hubs are crooked. That's what the problem is. The hubs are chuffing crooked. You arseholes. So I've been copying off a crooked bit. There we go. The hubs are now not crooked. That one's crooked, look. Yeah, that's sloping downwards if I do it that way. So I need to copy that across to there. So I need a reference point to do it with. So I think this is going to be awkward. That's the... Yeah, that's the correct one. If I building pipette that now, and then flip that round, will it allow me to snap off the middle? That is the question. It will, but I don't actually know what the snap is. I think it's in the middle of that. Snap 1, snap 2, snap auto. Is it going to let me snap off anything at all? That's the same as that piece there. So I need the next piece in. Hammer broke. That's what I need to do. So I need that one out, because that's piece number 2. If I copy that again. So there's only 3 snapping places on a huge piece like that, and that is the official one I need. It won't let me. You absolute dickbag. So I need to run across the top of the weight and snap it at the top of the weight. So let me see if I can do that. This is just purely to create a snapping point, obviously. Just make sure I'm not... Look at that, running on piss already, look. Oh, thank you. I'll add you to the thing and share a picture of yourself, because I love to see who the people are who are following me. So that will be another, yet another building pipette. So that will snap. I just need to flip it round because it's, I don't know if it's directional actually. Look at that, it's not even lining up at bottom, look. It's doing it again, it's spinning. I can't remember my mind up if that is actually snapping right. Don't think it is. God, Buildheim, you're a dick. It looks like it is slightly out of true, but it's a bloody big piece. So that visually looks better, but it's too close. Needs another one. building pipettes. So we'll do that again. So I mean, the other thing is, it is a symmetrical piece. I could do that, which snaps that to there, which gives me that to there. So if I swap that around, I'll just copy one because I know they're straight now. So if I copy that to there, that is correct. So I'll put a beam through there. That is now correct there. That is correct. That's lined up. That's lined up. That's lined up. Those can come off there. Counterweights are those again. So I'll copy them. Pipette that. So top centre. Oh, you fucking beauty. Look at that. That's done it. That's done it. That's got it. That is now a top spin. So apart from just putting this shaft in here, which is possibly going to need me just to remove that briefly, the hub. Fucking beautiful. Fuck me, that were a build. So put the hub back on there. So that's the top spin. But look at that. That looks so much like a top spin. Oh, bloody hell. I feel all exhausted after that. And look, it's double-sided. Now, yeah, that is a serious build. Now, I do need to do some other decorations on it, but I can now do those now it's built. So, other things I wanted to do is, I want to get that angle right, because they usually have a stairway up them. I think that's the one. Let me get that angle right. Now that should snap at the bottom. Ah, it's too... That's the wrong angle. I want it to stay consistently. So there may be a bit of tweaking of angles here. Right, that should allow you, in regular climbing mode, to get up there. So let me just check if I can climb that. Unfortunately not. So they need to be a little bit more external.
You gotta be careful with leather pants though. You do see your dick a lot.
You do. You do. As you are well aware, I wear leather a lot and I am an expert on seeing your dick a lot in leather. Right. Ways and means. Ways and means. Ways and means. So what I'll do is I'll copy that piece because I know that piece has got the right angle. I'll just copy that, put back up. So ways and means, we will get the ladder back, put a door in front of that, which creates me a different snack point. Put the door, I needed the door at the top, didn't I? Because your snap point in a door is at the top, not the bottom. So if you look, what they're doing is they're creating a different snap point. So that technically should be climbable. So the only bit with it is, because you can do this. So let's see, can I climb that? Yes, I can climb that. That gets me up to the motor house, not the mill house. So the other thing I need to do is for the motor house is put need some more big boards in there. So what I'll do while that's in, that's not the right angle. That's the right angle. But that's now sloping upwards. You see, this is the problem with these. You've got so many angles of adjustment. That's the right angle. That's the right angle there. For the motor, I'm going to use my old favourite, just because it's going to position itself in right place. That's the only thing. Right, that's the motor done. You can add flax, but it falls out. And then the top needs something a little more than that. So I'm thinking if I can snap some big Grouston into there. That's dipping into it. That's dipping. Let's reset. Put the Grouston in. I think it's that. Yeah, that's staying centered. There we go. So the next thing I need to do is find the centre underneath, which shouldn't have changed, and it hasn't. Because the way a topspin floor, well, the topspin floor drops away when you load in, but I can't do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3, 4. I'm going to do this and slope the floor inwards like that. And then the same on that side. One, two, three. Oh, count again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 on the old angled angulometer. And that should, if that's right, should hit the stand in the same place, look, pretty much, yeah. So flatten that back out again. And this can be the disembarking area. Again, that's not lined up.
Happy, happy pancake day, pancake day, pancake day. Happy, happy pancake day by Jif Lemon.
Jif should pay me a sponsorship for that. Okay, I think this might be my new favourite ride. And under there, it can stay flat. So this is what the ride actually stands on. Oh, I think we should have at least a lifetime supply of Jif. Well, Netherlands, you'll call it Yif, wouldn't you? It'd be Yif. So if I now run that around there. Well, we changed ours to Sif because apparently, yeah, because we used to have Jif, and that were a cleaning product, and then it changed to Sif. A bit like how we changed as Marathon Bar to Snickers, because apparently Snickers. Right, so final bit is I'm hoping these are going to work in here. And I'm thinking actually to make a disembarking station, because you go on onto a Huss topspin from one end. You go, if I make it that you're going through the middle of the ride. One of those isn't right. That one's not right. I should put that one off. Just copy that and repaste that. Copy that, repaste it, and just see if I can get that to look right. There we go. So I'm guessing that one's not right either. That one's not right either, look. So same again, copy that, repaste it. I'm going to copy this and save it as a piece as well. Because I might, this might be the ride I transfer to my own server. I think the little one, like that. Jiff is, yeah, it's I know it's peanut butter in US. I've had Jiff peanut butter. I wanted it to taste of lemon. Right, I think if I put those, it'll create like a little step. There's a piece there, just needs to come out. Oh, God, I can't believe how good that is looking. And then we need railings around it. What I'll do is I'll do these sides first, and then we'll have an embarking station and disembarking and queue line and all that to do. The other one I've had in US is Goober, which is peanut butter spiraled into well, it says jelly, but it's American jelly, so it's essentially liquidy jam. And we would technically call it a jelly in this country. Right, that's going to be the way in. That's the top spin. Right, so the way in will be here. So I'll start it as concrete to the front. This is where it's now going to become the off-ride plaza, which I'm going to eliminate the cliff by just building over it. So that'll be the plaza. Right, the middle of the ride, it's an odd 1, 2, so there's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that's the middle of the ride. You know, I'm doing something silly here. I could just do this. 1, 2, 3. Building pipette. Just do that. Could have done a 4 actually. Same at this end. Finish it off nicely. So basically, I've built the toxicator, because that's up on a platform. And that's wrapped up the edge of that. So it's a good job you guys aren't coming in, because I think this build is now through 25,000 instances. So yeah, I think viewing it on Xbox is a bit of a no-hoper. Or you could, but it would be like a slideshow. Right, so that's the plaza. Well, I know, yeah, it's Jonathan's server. He's quite picky about who goes on it as well. I mean, to be honest, getting admin rights on it so I could run all the hammer things and that took some doing. So let's put a fence across there. Same across here. I do love these fences, and I'm going to do the same again and section the top of them so they look chunky. So that's basically where all your mates can stand and watch it. Now, there is a bit of grass poking through there, but the nice thing with it is I don't actually have to remove the top texture to get rid of the grass. So that's that done. So next I will put some stone in. I'll have stone steps, some grouston steps going up to it. That's the right place. And then the same again with the grouston steps. That should bring me nicely to there, which it does. Now, do I make two sets, or do I just go for a single set? If I go make two sets, just see how it goes. It looks aesthetically balanced, but it's this bit here. I don't know whether that is going to interfere. It does a little bit, but I can cope with that, to be honest. Looks more natural. And then same again. And then I've got a couple of ride cars I need to get rid of that are dotted around the map. And then fill in all this area here. Now what I tend to do with these is I tend to make them like this. Because it's easier than trying to do handrails. So that can be solid. As can that. Because there is no angle piece that does that. You can, but they don't line up as well like that. I'm going to do some of them. But I'll show you. There's a few artifacts with them that you get, and it's trying to put handrails on. I mean, I'll give it a try, I suppose. But last time I tried, they don't line up perfectly. So if you have to make sure that you're at the right angle, and then I need to tilt them along the. So that's the angle of dangle, as they call it, which works all right for that. Weight is actually, it should be all right on this one actually. It's just when you're doing it over long sets of steps, it doesn't line up very well, and the steps start poking out. No, that's looking all right actually. I'll show you what the problem is. Watch. Is it going to actually? No, it's actually it looks okay. Look, yeah. What the problem is, it's when they get to the bottom they look. You see how it sticks out. So what you have to do is sort of slope it down like that. That one can be level. That one can be level. So I'll just fill it in. Actually, it does make it look a lot less industrial. I don't think that's the same angle, is it? It is. It's just not lining up very well. Yeah, it's that one. So yeah, the problem is it's the handrails. You don't get the same number. It's the same as the problem over on the roller coaster. Another helpful suggestion by our friendly neighbourhood goats. Same here. I'm going to leave that sticking out, so that's right. This is the bit. It's the handrails. And I might just, because I think they don't slope. The slope at a certain angle quite well, and then you go too far and they just look silly. Let's just see what they go like. So that's meshed in there. Look, it's rising. Look, you see. So I have to do it like that. Right, and I'm not going to do all these. I'm going to leave some of that a bit more open. And then just at the top of there, I will put one of those. Same at the bottom. Same at top of there. Same at bottom. And then straighten it up. Do all the corners and all the ends. Missed one. let's get rid of this. Get rid of this cart. Because I know it worked now. And I've got one up at the back as well. On the back bit. I can get rid of that one as well. Right, I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to leave that there, I think. Actually, I've gone into it a bit, haven't I? I wonder if I can't copy those and move them. That's the problem. So I'd have to use the proper hoe in the old-fashioned method and raise the land like that to try and get a bit more control. I don't want to start damaging my beautiful new ride. Because I want to keep that as a memento. It's a historic feature. The old-fashioned hoe to level ground. So it makes it sort of level but not quite as ridiculously level as the other. And then regrass it. And while I'm at it, I can regrass all that, get rid of the path at the back. Because it makes that wall look better. So, I'm not going to fill that in too much with trees because we've got a view at mountain. So I'm going to keep that a bit more sparse. I'll just put a couple of trees in. I'll pip out that tree there. Straighten it up because it's definitely crooked. Make some smaller ones. The other thing I've got is the view of this stone circle over there. So I don't want to block that. So I'll block the view of the coaster. So apart from a queue line, I'm repairing my hammer, which for some reason has just broke but not made the noise that it broke. Now, the other thing is I need to get a name. What I'll do is I will put that to there, to there. There is a piece at the end there, so I can use that as a snap. You'll see what I'm doing. Oh, hello, Vic. What about topspin, Vic? So these will be the queue line. So I'll swap round to... How are you doing anyway, Vicky? Monsieur Vic La Victor. How are you doing? He's lovely in here. Tired but chill. That's a good way to be. So that's that one. And that one. And then finally that one. So that's your queue line. That's the queue line for the ride. And I need to put some lights up. I don't know whether to put some small railings at the front of here actually. Whether to bury some railings in. You're actually better off putting the big railings in because you get half the number of came home from dinner with friends. Oh, what you had? Come on, spill the beans. You're not had beans, obviously, but spill the beans. So yeah, what I'm thinking is that. Just to stop people falling off the... off the front, and the same on the back. Actually, I could leave those concrete pillars there. Couldn't I? Soup with rice, noodles and prawns. Ooh. Get you. So we'll have that one there. Kicked into the side. I will put that in. That one there also kicked into the side. Same there. Same there. And then because there's no escape at this side, I'll also continue the railings across. Now that's the bit to remember, is that it's not an even number of pieces across, so you're going to have a crossover piece like that, which has to be masked. Right, the only other thing is, there's that in there. I did find it. It's there. And then the final bit is the queue line again. So, yeah, this is... well, yeah, if you're building something like this, I mean, for God's sake, look at that. It's ridiculous. And it's not even been, like, tarted up or dressed up yet. So there's all its stuff to go on, yeah. I wish I could get that machine to copy across and look cool. That looks quite cool, that. So let's get some lamps in place. If I put those at a 45-degree angle on the corners, ever the perfectionist, making sure the angle of angle's correct. Right, and I'm going to copy my raven lamp up here as well. Let me find a raven lamp. There's one there. There's one there. That one. Let me copy my raven lamp. So building prepare that. And put a raven lamp up here as well. So that can go in front of it. Front centre. So let me just make sure that is balanced. Feels like that needs a bit more lighting. Let's put one under that one as well. I don't think you. The problem is if they're not on top of a mid piece, you can't put the lamp inside. You can put that in there because it's on top of one of those. So let's put another lamp. Right, the midpoint of the ride is there because it's got a. So midpoint's there. So we'll put one at the midpoint, and then one in the middle of that one, and then it would need one in the middle of that one, which I can just do. See if I can move that one forward a bit. Get them into the fence like that. And then one there. So that should have lit up all the queue line. That does not look balanced to me. Why is that not balanced? Because I've put that one too far along. Or that one not far enough along. Because that one should be there. Which would sort of nullify that one being there. Right, that now looks... Apart from the extra one at that side, that looks more balanced. And then the same here, I need one to light the queue line again. Let's be middle of a square. It's not going to let me do that one, is it? It only lets you do them in certain angles for some reason. What about that one? Let me do that one. Nope, it's not letting me do that one. It's climbing up. But it's not going to let me do any of those. But it'll let me do the edge, so I'll do the edge. Nope, not going to let me do edge now either. The absolute prick. I didn't want to do that. About there. Let me do that corner diagonally. This is the problem. It's trying to get them in. Trying to get them to lock on. No, he don't like that. Does not like that. Oh well. Right, and then a couple up ride. So we'll have one there which will have to be manually positioned. Can't remind which one's level. It's that one. I reckon about there. And that's the entrance to the ride. And then some paths. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. That. So many angles of bloody rotation. So that one's the exit. Spider crawling on me. No exit. So so that's the exit. And then the same again. I can actually probably just leave that lamp there and stick out the side quite nicely. So I ain't got a name for it yet. Yeah, it sticks out on that side of that, look. I ain't got a name for it yet. So I need a Viking themed name for a Huss topspin. There we go. I'm not calling it a fucking whirly-go. You've already got bloody boat go wee. Fucking boat go wee. Hella's wheel of it. Well, it's not really a wheel, is it? That's the thing. And we could call it sort of like Valhalla, because it is a challenge. But Valhalla, the problem with me is Valhalla is a water ride at Blackpool Pleasure Beach to me. So that'd be a little bit moot for me, because I was thinking of going on Valhalla and getting absolutely bloody soaked. Now, I'm just thinking of what goes up and down. I mean, what's because we've already got Thor's Hammer, which is that roller coaster there, which is Mjolnir, which actually does need a sign on the end of here in big writing. And you can sit on the top spin, look. I'm actually just going to see if, when you're not flying, if you can still sit on them. Yeah, you can still sit on the ride, look. Oh, what a photo. Let's grab that. Hella's Whirlwind. I do need to put some more planting in this area though. So while we're thinking of a name, if anybody wants to Google names and come up with an acceptable name for it, that I'll accept, because this ride is a bit too special for me to just call it Boats Go Wee. It took a lot of building. I will actually probably say that it's been my most difficult build ever. I'm going to put some more trees at the side here, just some smaller ones. So I don't want to drown out the view. Now something in here, something with the Emir might be a good one. Or we could call it something like Ichthyor's Bane or something like that. I think I've just put that floating onto. So I'll just put some more in front of it. Because I think I'm a bit close to roller coaster there. Let me just be careful. I've not removed anything. I'm gonna remove that. You want something really quite dramatic for it. Let me put another one of those back there. More decorating. Oh, that one, you can't scale that one. That's it. Or a couple of pickable flints as well. A few pickable rocks. And some glowing mushrooms, because I like the glowing mushrooms because they give a natural bit of light in the just to fill out the darker areas. Just tuck them under trees. Now that would be a good one. We could have it one of Thor's thunderstorms. I've already got put that there. Well, we've got that named after Thor. So we've got that. So that's named after Thor. Oh, that's named after Thor's hammer. So we could have it as Thor's land, this up here. The only thing is, technically, to make it Thor's land, I'd have to turn this bridge around here. I'd have to rebuild all that and bring it round this way. And then we could take the roller coaster off this area. There we go. Jormungandr. That's the name. The world snake. No, I think it's good for this. I think it works for this. Yo, Curtis. Yeah, all's good. So this is called Jormungandr. Jormungandr. This is the same here. We need some lamps on this frontier. And the nice thing with these is they will naturally just snap into place. There we go. Oh, thank you. It's they're actually just trousers as well. It's I've got the full leather suit. I know you like your leather. One there, and then some general street lighting. It's a look out of quite a lot, to be honest. This. Yeah, pretty good. It's it's an unplanned Saturday, so it's not been as busy as my usual Sundays are. But people expect me on a Sunday. They like shiny Sunday. And also, I mean, you know, leather. It's not latex. It's good, but it's not latex. Let me just grass that bit there. And the good thing is it means I can catch that. Put some shrubs in there. Get some berries as well for a bit of colour. I've just built that in Valheim. I'm building a theme park. And I've just built that. I've just built a Huss topspin. And I'm not going to say by any means that that was an easy build, because that was a fucking hard build. That was possibly one of the hardest builds I've ever done. Let's put it that way. So, I mean, this could technically be an operator's cabin. Or this one. So I could do the same thing again with the steps. And turn that into an operator's cabin. Because that one's got the motor in it. So I could do the same again. I keep saying to you, dude, you've got nobody to please. You do what you want. I don't care if you stream or not. If you stream, I'll watch you. If you don't, I won't. That's it. Really. So let me just make sure that that is lined up. So yeah, I'm going to build the same arrangement here again. I'm going to put the ladders into the ride structure. Just check that looks the same. Don't come away too much. It's just a great game, to be honest. It's a great game. It's just such a lovely game. Especially because I'm playing it in like a building world. So I think I can probably do that. I can, but I'd have to snap them off the other one. So rather, because that's the end one, snap them off the inner one. And then that's the same here. So put them with the thing inwards because they're going to glitch out otherwise. That's same there. And then this can become an operator's cabin. And the only bit I've not got is the bit under there. So I need a wall over that end. Just to stop them walking out. Now I have noticed that that one has stuck out really far, but that one hasn't. So I'm going to copy that snap position across and clone that. Oh, you see that one's snapping out too much. Let me rethink this. Perhaps just make the operator's cabin a little box. Like so. And then to go for a more skeletal nature. Still need that one. Go for a new, more skeletal nature and go for one of those. No, we're not doing that. I think those are leaning outwards. I know. Nope, that's alright. So you can see both sides from there. And then finally, a ride operator's signboard. Which needs leaning backwards slightly. Now on the plaza, I need some benches. I need some benches with a view of the ride. So that's the middle of the plaza. I'll put one bench there, one quite close to it, that's sitting there. We've got 3 benches. A couple of bins. So the bins are there. And put one in that corner there, because that's a dead corner. One in that corner there, perhaps accidental throwing up. I could actually have some more benches along here as well, because this is not too not going to be too busy, because this is the ride exit. So I'll put some more along here as well. So we'll start one there. I'll probably get 4 in there. No, that 4th one's going to be Wasp World. That's going to be the one with all the wasps flying around it. So let me space those ones out a little bit more. So to guess about a foot between them. Right, I need to pretty up this front a bit as well. So we'll have some banners. Not got many banners in this theme park, to be honest. I'll have some blue and orange banners. Can I put one off end there, actually? Put a blue one off that end and an orange one off that end. There we go. One Huss topspin. Pretty much finished, I think. And its name is Jormungandr. I'm gonna have to remember that. That's the top spin, which goes really nicely with the new roller coaster. It's a bloody big ride. Let's see if I can just put some moss up against this wall. I've just thrown up by mistake. I hope I'm not going to die of throwing up. Let's just moss that wall up a bit. Yeah, it feels like it just needs a little bit more. Some smaller trees. I think that's the same tree, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Because we are technically at the edge of the Black Forest here. As I said, I don't want to be blocking all the view of the mountains. Yeah, I think that's finished. I think I can stick a fork in that and say that's finished. It's a ride. I don't think there's much else I can do to that to add to it. It's got lighting, it's got everything I need. Yeah, I think that's done. I'm going to grab a few photos of that for the photo set. That looks good in between track as well. So print screen. That as well. So I'll stick those on the Discord. But that's the general... That is what it's looking like. Now the problem is if you get too far away you start losing rides look. So you can't do like a full wide view of it anymore. That's how it started, just this bit here. That's the new, that's the top, that's the launch free fall I did today. And I also added the roller coaster, which is just crazy and goes all the way around this mountain. So that's the other ride I added. I think that is possibly my favourite ride. Plus those blue lights, they just finish it off. It's as if I could just do with some blue torches, even though I know the blue torches will burn out in femtoseconds because you have to refresh them with grade water fires. So it's almost as if I feel like it needs to be a blue. Same there. You see those I can put wisp lights in. And if I turn the wisp lights sideways, you don't see the stakes. And see where the misalignment is though, look. That were the problem, it's trying to get everything aligned. If you turn them like that, you don't see the sticks, look. From the bottom. As soon as you stand at the bottom, you can just see the light on top. Actually, I'm not happy with that, the way they look. They are a little bit visible. Right. One thing I was going to do, just to give it a try, because there's also another idea I had with names. Because we need a fear for this ride. And one of the things I had an idea about is about putting fires in. Now I've not left enough room there to do it. If I put fires in like that, so we could do that, and then it creates a fear for the ride. Also blocks the view of the ride a bit. So that could also work. Because the thing is with a top spin is you get dangled over. So you get dangled over the fire. And if I were doing that, I would probably just run a bead of that along there. Just to make it look a bit less. I won't go down the line of the full metal one. Yeah, that's the problem. It's the views of the ride that it blocks, because you've got the... I mean, what I could do is let the fires go out. Let the fires go out and then there won't be smoking, but that's the problem, because the smoky. It's also, every fire is like 10... There's like 10 elements. But anyway, off goes the smoke. And off goes me. Because I think that's enough for tonight. See who's playing. Let's just go and have a quick raid at somebody. See who we can raid at. So. Because I need to get my raid numbers up. Is it going to log me out? No, it's alright. I've had to change my password. So we've got... just seeing who's playing, who's really nice and chilled. So we've got Gooflumps playing. So we could raid Pit with Spikes. Yeah, that'd work. So we could read Gooflump. Oh, Helia's playing. Let's raid Helia. Playing Repo. She's playing Repo, which means she might not be fully... Pokemon Emerald. That's it. So let's raid Gooflump. So everybody join me in raiding Gooflump. Who is playing Pokemon Emerald. And we shall I shall see you probably later this week. Because I'm not streaming Tuesday and I'm not streaming tomorrow. So thank you so much for watching. Keep shining, and let's join me in raiding Buildheim.
What's going on, Newman? What's going on, friendo? How's it going? How's it hanging? Welcome. Welcome in, Raiders. My name is Gooflump. I'm a non-binary variety streamer from Canada, and today we're doing